In this video, I'll be figuring out just how long it takes to make a project video, and I'll also show you my process for making the video too. I've been making videos on YouTube for over 5 years now, and during that time I've put out about 300 videos, and my process for video editing has evolved into what is now quite a slick and quick process compared to how it was a few years back anyway. Obviously, the first job is to actually make the project itself, and the project I'm going to be focusing on in this video is the shoe cabinet and coat storage video, which was generally quite a well-received video. It currently has about 37,000 views at this point in time. I'll leave a link to the video in the description box below if you haven't seen it. The project itself took 2.5 days to build and install. In hours, I guess that's about 18 hours in total. We'll add that to the counter, and then it's on to the next phase. The camera I use to film pretty much everything is the Canon EOS 200D, also known elsewhere as the Rebel SL2, and I use two lenses, a 10 to 18mm f4.5 to 5.6 and an 18 to 55mm f3.5 to f5.6. I have that attached to a Manfrotto Magic Arm, which is attached to a Manfrotto Super Clamp. These are a couple of recent upgrades, and all of that clamps onto my mobile camera stand, which I made in a previous video. I have a Rode Video Micro microphone connected up to the camera's 3.5mm jack input, which gives much improved audio quality when compared with the microphone that's built into the camera. By the way, I'll leave links to all of the equipment that I use in the description box below in case you're interested in checking any of it out. I record everything onto a 128GB memory card, and I can bring that into the office to transfer the files onto my laptop. I try to copy the files onto my laptop quite regularly so that I have two copies of the footage, one on the SD card and one on my laptop, so that if one fails, I still have the footage stored somewhere else as a backup, and I don't delete anything from my SD card until the video is finished and uploaded to YouTube. The video editing software that I use is Magic's Movie Studio 14, and I don't like it very much, to be honest, because it's quite buggy, but I don't really have the time or motivation to learn to use another piece of software, so I just stick with it. I start with a template file which has my intro and outro music and graphics on it. And you'll see I have tracks for music, text, images, commentary video, and video audio, if that makes sense. This is just so that I can keep everything organized. I can then bring in all of my video footage into the file, and it takes a while for all of the audio clips to display, so I've sped up this footage. For this particular project, there are 112 individual clips in total, and that equates to 3 hours and 42 minutes of video footage here, which I need to edit down into roughly a 10-minute video. That's what I generally aim for as a length for my YouTube videos. So first I'm going to do what I call a rough edit, which is basically where I cut out all of the bits of each clip that I might want to include in the final video and delete everything else. To speed up this process, I often review the footage in double speed. In Magic's, if you tap L on the keyboard, it speeds up the playback. And then I can use other hotkeys like S, which splits the clip. And you can see here that I want to keep this clip where I pick up the plywood and move it onto the workbench. The rest of the footage on that clip can get deleted. And that's basically the process that I follow for each and every one of the video clips, splitting them into the bits I might want to use in the final video, deleting the rest, and then moving on to the next clip, and so on until everything is condensed down. As this is just a rough edit, I'm not concerned with getting things precise at this stage. I just want to get that almost 4 hours of footage down to about 20 minutes maybe, and then I can move on to the next step. By the time I've finished with the rough edit, this is how the project looks, and you'll see that I've condensed 3 hours and 42 minutes of video down to 16 minutes and 38 seconds, which is a pretty good start. The total amount of time it took me to do the rough edit was 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's without a break. Ordinarily in the real world, because I'm human, normally I'd be distracted by things like Instagram, Facebook, or maybe YouTube, or stroking my cat, or making a quick snack. So normally this process will probably take longer, but we'll add the 2 hours 45 minutes to the counter because I'm interested to see how long it takes without those distractions. Next, what I do is watch back the rough edited footage and write a script which explains what's going on in that footage, and I can later use that script to narrate the video. To type up the script, I use an online app called Google Keep. It's where I keep all of my video scripts, to-do lists, project ideas and stuff like that. What I like about it is that not only can I access it from my laptop, but also on an app on my phone. So wherever I might be, I can always update things whenever I want to. I always like to write a script, that way I can think properly about exactly what I want to say in the video to make sure that I cover everything that I think is important to the build. If I was just to talk over the video and fly by the seat of my pants, I'd miss important things out. Also, I'm just not naturally very good at talking. I'm much better at communicating what I want to say in written form. So for me, this is the best way I've found to do things. The whole process of writing the script took 2 hours and 15 minutes, so we'll add that onto the counter too. The next phase is the narration of the script, and I do that from the comfort of my desk in my office right here, where I've already got my microphone set up. This is the Blue Yeti USB condenser mic. I'll leave a link to that below too. I set up my camera onto a tripod and add my homemade teleprompter onto the front of the lens. I made this in a previous video and I'll link to that below in the description box too. But since I made this, I got a bigger phone, and that explains why I've had to cut these big slots into the side panels, because otherwise my new phone wouldn't fit. The teleprompter app that I use is called Prompt Smart Pro. It's not a free one. I pay a fee of about £30 per year. And the reason I use this rather than one of the free ones is because this is actually voice activated. So the script moves automatically as you are reading it at whatever pace you are speaking at. I just copy and paste the script from Google Keep onto the Prompt Smart app, hit play, and here you can see that the text is mirrored from left to right. I can then pop my phone onto the teleprompter, and as you can see, the text now displays correctly in the reflection on the glass in the teleprompter. Now I can just use the flippy screen on the camera to check that the shot is composed and framed how I want it, and wait for the autofocus to kick in. One recent addition that I've added to my setup is this USB-C lav mic, which I plug into my phone, and this just helps the Prompt Smart Pro voice tracking feature to hear me better. So I don't use the audio from this cheap lav mic to record anything. It's purely just used because it does a better job at hearing me than the microphone that is built into my phone. I can then set up the Blue Yeti, which is what I'll be using to record the narration audio that will be used in the video. And the pop guard is placed in front to stop any plosive sounds being picked up by the microphone from my voice. And usually I just clip the lav mic onto that. My cat Dylan is never usually too far away when I'm in the office. I then set the Blue Yeti to record directly into Magix, and I check my audio levels are okay. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2, and then I hit record on the camera and begin narrating by reading my script from the teleprompter. In this video, I'll be making some hat, coat and shoe storage for our new entrance hall. The process of recording the narration took 45 minutes, and that's because I make a lot of mistakes and have to do a lot of retakes, as you can see here. I sized the unit so that I could make... I planned the size of this unit so that I could make the top part. Speaking to a camera is something that I've got a lot better at over the years, but it's not something that comes naturally to me, and I don't think I'll ever feel totally comfortable doing it, to be honest. But like anything, if you do it enough, you get better at it. Next, I can sync up the microphone audio with the audio from the camera by zooming in and lining up the audio waves. And then I can delete the camera audio because it's inferior to the Blue Yeti audio, which I'll keep and use. Next, I need to edit all of the narration video and get rid of all of my mistakes and keep the bits that I want to keep in the video. And again, I do a lot of this editing in double speed just to make it quicker. As the lads that are doing
some of the renovation work on our home have a trade account with a local timber merchant, I asked if they could buy 3 additional sheets just for me to use to take advantage of the savings. I'm going to start with the shoe storage.
Once I've condensed that 45 minutes of video down to the bits that I want to keep, it looks a little something like this. So the project clips are on the left, the narration is on the right, and I want to drag that narration over so that it overlaps the project. And then I can start lining up the narration, i.e. what I'm talking about, with what I'm actually doing in the project clips. So what I'm doing now is the final edit, getting everything where it needs to be so that the video makes sense and flows properly. This is usually the most time-consuming part of the editing, and it requires the most brain power too. It's the part that I enjoy the least. Here I'll often want to make some of the clips longer and some of the clips shorter so that the action shots in the project clips line up nicely with the narration. Then there are the finishing touches to the video, like adding the photos and the SketchUp models. I'll talk about how long it took to put those together later. And then I can add the final credits for all of the people that support the channel on Patreon. I do that by copying and pasting the list of patrons into a spreadsheet, and I've set up a couple of macros in that spreadsheet that will apply some formatting to the list of names and display them in the way that I want them. I can then use the snipping tool to copy that data into Affinity, which is the image editing software that I use. And I format these as a PNG image with a transparent background so that I can then bring them into the video, and I add a white background so that they're easier to see. That probably all sounds like a really long-winded way of doing things, but actually it's the best method that I've found. By the time I'm done with the final edit, this process took 3.5 hours, so let's add that onto the counter. There are a few other things I need to account for too. First, I need to create the detailed project plans and cut lists for this project, which are made available via Etsy and Patreon. And that involves first designing the model of what I want to build in SketchUp. Then using that SketchUp model, I can create my cut list, plans and dimensions, which I do using WordPad, and then I export that as a PDF, which is the actual file that is downloadable. The whole process for SketchUp and the plans took another 2.5 hours. So let's add that onto the counter too. Also, I needed to take some photos of the finished project and then edit them. And like I said before, I use Affinity for all of my image editing needs. It's completely replaced Photoshop for me, which I stopped using as soon as they adopted their payment subscription model. Affinity is available as a one-off purchase with no ongoing monthly payments, and it does everything that Photoshop does, as far as I need it to anyway. I don't usually do too much to the images, I just tweak the white and black levels, maybe add a touch of clarity and contrast, color correction if needed, cropping it to a 16:9 ratio so that it fits nicely in the video, and then adding some sharpness, that kind of thing. Sometimes if there's a distraction in the photo, I might just get rid of that just to make the image look cleaner. I also have to create a video thumbnail, which I also do in Affinity. The photo taking and editing side of things took another hour and 30 minutes in total. So we'll add that to the counter. At this point, I can then render the video, and this one took about half an hour to render, but I'm not going to include that onto the counter because while it's rendering, I can go and do other things. And then it's on to uploading the video to YouTube and editing all of the description box, links, tags, end screens, and all of that kind of stuff on YouTube, and that took about half an hour. Once it's on YouTube, I'll then usually watch it back on my TV in my lounge just to make sure that all of the video and audio is okay. And often I'll need to make further edits to the video, re-render it and upload it to YouTube again. Sometimes I need to do that 2 or 3 times to get the video as good as I can possibly get it. So where are we now in total? The project took 18 hours, the rough edit 2 hours and 45 minutes, script writing 2 hours and 15 minutes, narration filming 45 minutes, the final edit took 3 hours and 30 minutes, the SketchUp and creating plans took 2 hours and 30 minutes, photos and editing took 1 hour 30 minutes, and the YouTube stuff took another 30 minutes. The total of all of that is 31 hours and 45 minutes. It was really interesting to me to actually figure out exactly just how long a project like this takes to put together. For those that don't know, I work a day job 3 days a week, and I work on the woodworking and YouTube side of things for 3 days a week too, and I have 1 day off at the weekend. But most of the video editing, I tend to do that at night when my other half goes to bed, so I often get a couple of hours of editing done, maybe a couple or 3 nights a week. But I never expected the project to take as long as 31 hours and 45 minutes in total to produce. That's longer than I expected, so I'm glad I did this experiment. It's proven to me that YouTube can be a full-time job in terms of the hours that need to be put into it. And there's a lot more work behind the scenes too, like maintaining the website, social media, responding to emails and comments, managing all the accounting and finance side of the business, sourcing materials for projects, brainstorming project ideas, research. I could go on. I now realize why I was struggling so much to put out a video each week when I was working a full-time job at the same time. I would like to do this full-time one day and maybe put out 2 videos per week, but at the moment that's unrealistic. Hopefully maybe in the next couple of years that might be more feasible. It's really nice for me to make videos about different things every so often. It just keeps things interesting for me. So sorry for those of you who were hoping for another woodworking video this week. I hope that you at least found some of the content in this video interesting, and it'll be a return to the woodworking content very soon. Please subscribe to my channel for more weekly woodworking videos. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so on Patreon, and there's a link to that in the description box below, where you can receive early access to my videos, exclusive content, free project plans and cut lists, and a name credit at the end of my videos. Thank you for watching.